Dear manager, I'd like to inform you that I'm resigning from my position. I would say it's been a pleasure working here, but you and I both know that isn't true. So, in the spirit of honesty, enough is enough. I wish you all the best, and please do not add me on LinkedIn. Kind regards, Coco.
Hey kids, so got a little gem for you today, trying to help people the way I can. It's really not all heroes wear cape, I said this in a video and I'm saying it again. I really just do my part to empower you guys to get into the word and kick ass. Do I do that? Not all the time. But today I'm doing it. I'm very excited about this video. So, just to let you know how this video is gonna work, there's gonna be 3 parts. The first part is, I don't know why I feel like I'm in a lecture room, but okay. The first part is I'm gonna tell you my story, well, how my story started. I'm gonna tell you the 5 or 6 things to expect in between, 6 bullet points if you are trying to leave your job. I think 6 things to just know and prepare for. And then the last part of this is going to be what actually happened to me, like the end of it, like how did it work out for me. Okay, now that we know the structure of this video, I'm going to start with my story. So I was working for this company for 4 years, got promoted once within that company, and it was great. It was la la la, got excited, and the promotion just never came. It just never came again, and I was there for like another 3 years, and I just felt I was long overdue another promotion. It just never came. And apart from not being promoted, I get that part like where you just need your flowers, like you need to make more money, like what is going on. It just makes you feel like, am I not being recognized? And I think the most important thing for me apart from that is just my mental health wasn't great. I was constantly anxious. I was just having a really hard time that year. And that year was 2021 actually. Last year. It was last year, guys. It was actually last year. I was really having a terrible time, and my mental health and what I was going through at work was really now affecting my personal life. I was starting to doubt myself. I'm already a person that doubts herself. I really just, and I'm working on it, seeing a therapist, okay? I just really doubt myself a lot, and work contributing to that doubt and making me feel even less about myself. And like, oh my God, am I not good enough? Am I not good at my job? Like, what is happening? It just kind of really affected me, and I just realized that it's either I carry on like this and be depressed, legit be depressed, or walk away and expect more. I know that you deserve more. I know that you are going to get more. And this was what I was telling myself and thinking. I was like, okay, cool. These are my options, so what am I going to do? I was like, I can't stay a day in this job, so my plan is I'm going to walk away, and I have no clue what I was going to do. Before I came to this decision where I was like sure that I'm 100% going to leave, these were the things I did, and these were the things I considered. And so this will be my 5 points. If you are thinking of quitting your job, leaving your job today, or leaving your job at some point, or you are thinking of quitting something, you should probably listen to the next 5 points and really just think about them and consider these points, and hopefully you can make a decision. So number 1 is knowing that you are going to be scared. It's a given. You're leaving a job that I was living a job that I'd been in for 4 years. A company had been in for 4 years. Leaving and having no clue what I was going to do next. I was terrified. And what scared me the most is the fear of the unknown. Like, I did not know what was going to come. I did not know what job I was going to get. I did not know what was going to happen. Was I going to be out of job for 6 months or a year? Or what was I going to do? I did not know. I was terrified. So don't think you're going to try to make this decision and not be scared. Fear is a given. Fear is a given. You're going to make this decision scared shit. Let me tell you something. When I was about to press send for that resignation, let me tell you something. I was jumping up and down my laptop like, oh my God, am I supposed to do this? Like, I've prayed. I know I'm supposed to do this, but should I do it? I was literally there for like another day. I couldn't press send. So just know that you're going to do this with fully afraid, fully terrified. you know, I mean, some people was probably done it like fully confident and be like, peace, leaving, don't care, let's go. I mean, good for you. But most people will be terrified of quitting anything, especially when they don't know what's coming, you know? It's not like you have a gig lined up. So just know that this decision will be made in fear, and that's okay. Number two is speak to the right people. And I say this because I spoke to quite a bit of people, because it was just a tricky decision. I never thought I would be in this place where I'd have to want to walk away from my job and not having a single plan in place, actually. And so I was talking to quite a few people, like, this is my plan. And what I found is a lot of people actually were just projecting their fears onto me. People, I remember speaking to someone, and she said, oh, this job that I had, like, before I got this job, it really took me like a year to find another job. Someone telling you it took them a year to find a job, you're like, are you joking? Am I supposed to believe in my job and not know? A year? Who's going to, I don't have rich parents, who's going to pay for my bills? So that really scared me. I was like, what if I'm thinking I'm going to get a job in at least 6 months, but actually it turned out to be a year over a year? What am I going to do? Terrified me even more. Spoke to other people like, just find a job and then leave. That is logical. If you can do that, if you're in a mental space to stay in a toxic environment or in a job that's really draining you, to find another job, to find another job and then leave, good for you. It's honestly good for you. Like, if you can do that. But I was in a place where I generally needed a mental break. I needed to stop working. I needed time dedicated for just my mental health. I needed not to be logging into another job in the next 2 weeks. I needed not to be doing all that. I needed to leave. I needed to leave because I was in a really terrible space. I could not even apply for another job while I was in this job because it was draining me that much. So I guess if you have the option to like find another job while you're in this space and before you quit, then great, do that. But for the people that generally cannot stay another day, I get it. So I would advise that you speak to 1 or 2 people that you trust that you can share this with. Don't talk to that many people, because the more people you speak to, the more fearful you're going to be. That's the truth, because people are going to project their fears onto you. So choose 1 or 2 people and have a conversation with them. People that you trust, people that you know that would come from an open-minded, not project their nonsense onto you, and just like help you process what you're going through. Number 3 is, so what I did is write a list of your pros and cons. Pros and cons of staying in this job. Pros of staying, cons of staying. Pros of leaving, cons of leaving. Write it down. See it. Because sometimes we think it's a good thing to walk away from this job, or we think it's a bad thing to walk away or to stay, or vice versa. I'm confusing everyone now. But when you write things down, you really get to see those benefits and those like disadvantages of staying or leaving. It really helps to put things in context. So write it down, write your pros and cons down, make a list, and have a visual representation of what you're actually thinking about both situations, staying or leaving. It really just put things in context. So definitely make a list. And number 4 is, this is one of the most important. Let me tell you, this is, unless you've got rich parents that can support you for 6 months, most people don't. The reality is most people don't, especially if you're living in UK. Like, who's paying your bills for you as a grown woman? Stop playing. I don't have that luxury of anyone covering my bills or paying for anything. So I was never going to walk away from it. Was never going to be an option if I didn't have money saved up. Let me tell you something. This is probably the most important factor. You have to have money saved up. Unless you're a rich kid and someone will sponsor you and pay for you, that's great, even better. I hate you, by the way, but good for you. You have to have money saved up. There is no option of leaving a gig if you do not have money saved up. Let me tell you something, and not everyone has the luxury to do this, so I get it that even that decision it's 10 times harder for you. I had money to save to pay my bills for at least a year if I didn't have a job. That's the truth. I was that prepared. You have to have a pot of money for rainy day, guys. to have the luxury to do stuff like that. You can't spend all your money. Again, not everyone has the luxury to even put some money on the side. I get that. But if you have the luxury to do that, please save your money. Please save some money, because rainy days come. You could lose your job. You may not even have the freedom to be like, oh, should I stay? Should I not? You lost your job, so what are you going to do? Please save some money, just as a general note. But I had money saved up for at least a year. If I didn't have a job for 1 year, I could pay my bills. I could pay my bills. I could pay my rent, I could pay my phone bills, I could pay electricity. I was fine. I could still have a little bit of social life. It would be terrible, but I could. But ideally, in order for me to maintain the lifestyle that I had, I mean, I was going to decrease my spending, of course. But in order for me to not feel like I'm depressed, where I don't have any money to go out, I gave myself 6 months. So I had 6 months to still continue to live the life I was living. No stress, had enough money. So guys, this is the biggest factor. It's not going to be an option if you do not have money saved up. So you have to have at least 6 months of your paycheck saved up somewhere. And that is the hardest part. But I had to put it in there because I can do all this. You're gonna be scared, but you ain't got money, so you ain't going nowhere because you're gonna be in this job. I'm sorry, I gotta be brutal, but if you don't have money, you ain't going nowhere. Number 5 is pray about it. Let me tell you something. There's nothing that, oh, God's happy showing. There's nothing I don't pray about. Actually, there are things I don't pray about. But let me tell you something. When it comes to life decisions like this, I stay praying. I stay speaking to Jesus. I stay speaking to my Lord and Savior, because the last thing I want to do is make a decision that is outside my Lord and Savior. Oh, no thanks. Because sometimes we think, oh, this is the right thing we're supposed to do. This is what I'm supposed to do. But the Lord is saying, sit back down. This is where I want you to be. So in order for me to know and to get clarity on what I needed to do, and to feel it in my spirit that I was making the right decision, I had to speak to my Lord. Because me and him, we see eye to eye. Can we take a moment to worship? Should we do a little praise and worship? Should we? Probably? No? Okay. Also, let me just throw it in there. Even when you think you're sure that the Lord has told you, the Lord has confirmed that this is what you gotta do, you're still gonna be scared. Let me tell you, the fear is going to be in the whole journey, the whole time. You're still going to be scared. Number 6 is, and this is the question I asked myself, and this is the question that my brother asked me when I spoke to him. He was like, what's the worst that can happen? You got money saved up. You're going to be fine. For a certain amount of time, you're going to be okay. What is the worst that can happen? In my head, the worst that can happen is I don't get a job for 6 months, and then what? I'm fine financially. I don't want to spend all my savings, but I'm still okay. What is the worst that can happen? And I think that's how you have to think about it. The worst that can happen is you are going to get a job. Let me tell you something. The worst that can happen is, okay, you don't get a job in a year. I mean, that's pretty terrible, but what are the chances? Because even if you don't get the job that you want, you can still do a little side gig on the side before you get signed. You can still get a job in Tesco. Like, it's not ideal, but you gotta get money somehow. Like, what is the worst that can happen? The worst that can happen is it takes longer than you expect to get a job, but you can get a part-time job on the side. You have transferable skills, so you will get a job. I was 100% confident I was going to get a job. I just didn't know what job I was going to get. And also that kind of gave me a little. So also, maybe if you're not a very skilled person, maybe don't leave. But what's the worst that can happen? Ask yourself that question. What is the worst that can happen? And make a list of the worst possibility that can happen. And if the worst things that can happen are so devastating that there is no coming back from, which there's a very high chance they're not, then maybe don't leave. But there's a very high chance that what the worst that can happen is it just takes longer to get a job. But you've got money saved. Again, such an important factor. You have to have money saved. You've got money saved, so it's okay. You've got everything else aligned, so it's okay. I've said all of this. So what happened to me? Walked away from my job. And in a month, I already got another job. It was bloody fantastic. It was actually fantastic. I got a job in a senior position, in a more senior position than I was. The exact promotion that I was waiting for 3 years in that company, I got it in less than a month of leaving. that job in less than a month. If I did not make that decision, I would probably still be there. If I did not make that decision, I would be thinking, I was probably still waiting for crumbs, for some kind of confirmation or some kind of approval from these people that were never gonna give me what I wanted. It was just so interesting that it was literally the exact job, the exact promotion I'd been waiting for 3 years, actually 2 years technically. I got it in a month of leaving that job. I was like, what are the bloody chances? What are the bloody chances for things to be this aligned? And that would have not happened if I stayed, if I was too scared to leave, if I doubted myself and thought, oh, actually, maybe I shouldn't go. What if I'm not qualified to do anything else? What if I would never get a job? What if I'm this? What if I'm that? Well, I'd rather find out than stay in a job that didn't value me. Choose your mental health. Prioritize yourself over someone else's company. It's not your father's company, so why should you die there? Why should you allow your mental health to suffer to build someone else's name? You know what I mean? At least it is your business and you're struggling mentally. Okay, get it, it's your name, but someone else's father? No, I'm sorry. Guys, it's not even worth it. This kind of gigs that we suffer ourselves for and allow our mental health to like just really suffer because of someone else's company, it's not worth it. So I say all of this to say, if you want to leave that job, oh child, you better start praying to the Lord if you're religious. If you want to leave that job, you better start saving your coins. And if you have all of this aligned, I'm going to tell you right now, it's time to leave. It's okay to walk away. Yeah, I hope you found this useful. Goodbye.